Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's The English Podcast. I'm your host, Charles, and I'm thrilled to have a very special guest with me today, my good friend and mental health advocate, Catherine. Hi, Catherine. How are you doing?
Hi, Charles. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Today, we're diving into a topic that affects all of us mental health. Catherine, let's start with the basics. Why is mental health just as important as physical health?
That's a great place to start, Charles. Mental health affects everything we do, how we think, feel, and act in our daily lives. Whether we're at work, school, or home, our mental well being impacts our focus, balance, and emotional strength. Unfortunately, many people still avoid talking about it, even though it plays such a crucial role in our overall well being.
That's so true. What happens when we ignore our mental health?
When we ignore mental health, problems like stress, anxiety, and burnout can grow quietly but significantly. Burnout, for example, is a state of mental and physical exhaustion. It happens when people push themselves too hard without enough rest. You might feel constantly tired, lose motivation, or even get physically sick. And this doesn't just affect working professionals. Students often experience this pressure too.
I've been through periods like that myself, and it's really challenging. How can we recognize when something isn't right with our mental health?
There are several important signs to watch for. Feeling tired all the time, losing interest in activities you once enjoyed, changes in sleep patterns or appetite, and difficulty concentrating can all be red flags. Some people feel constantly irritable or emotionally drained without understanding why. These signals should never be ignored, Charles.
These warning signs seem quite common in today's society. What can we do to better care for our mental health day to day?
Taking care of mental health involves small but powerful habits. First, it's important to find a balance between work or study and personal time. Regular breaks, engaging in activities you enjoy, like hobbies, spending time with loved ones, or simply relaxing in nature can recharge your mind.
What about sleep? I always hear that good sleep is important, but why exactly?
Sleep is absolutely essential for mental health. A good night's rest improves mood, concentration, and even your immune system. When you don't sleep well, you become more irritable, less focused, and more susceptible to emotional problems.
And physical activity? Does that help with mental health too?
Absolutely. Physical activity plays a huge role. Even a short walk can help clear your mind and improve your mood because of endorphins, chemicals that make you feel good. It doesn't have to be intense exercise. What matters is moving your body regularly.
I found that talking about my feelings helps, but many people struggle with this. How important is expressing what we feel?
Talking about how you feel with someone you trust is key. It could be a friend, family member, or even a professional. Expressing your emotions can reduce stress and help you feel supported. Too often, we keep everything bottled up inside, and that becomes an enormous burden.
What about mindfulness and journaling? I've been hearing a lot about these practices lately.
Mindfulness and journaling are incredibly helpful tools. Deep breathing, meditation, or writing down your thoughts can help you better understand and manage your emotions. These practices create space to slow down and reflect, something we rarely do in our busy lives.
I'm really interested in personal boundaries. How do they relate to mental health?
Setting boundaries is extremely important. Many people say yes to everything and end up overwhelmed. Learning to say no when needed protects your mental energy and prevents burnout. It's not selfish, it's necessary self care.
What about our social relationships? Do they influence our mental health as well?
Without a doubt, social connections are another pillar of mental health. Having a strong support system, even if it's just a few close friends, can make a tremendous difference. In today's digital world, it's easy to replace real life interaction with social media, but online connections are not the same. In fact, comparing your life to others on social media can actually make you feel worse.
That's so true. Sometimes it seems like everyone is living perfect lives online, except for us.
Exactly, Charles. That's why it's important to spend time offline and enjoy meaningful conversations with people who care about you. These real connections are much more nourishing for our mental health.
Catherine, to wrap up our conversation today, what message would you leave with our listeners?
I would say that mental health is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Listening to your body and mind, making time for rest and connection, and not being afraid to ask for help are all part of a healthy routine. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. In fact, it's the only way you can truly care for others, too.
Yes. And taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup, so make sure to refill yours first. A powerful message to end on. Thank you so much, Catherine, for sharing your knowledge and experience with us today.
Thank you for having me, Charles. It's been a pleasure discussing this important topic.
And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us. Remember to take care of your mental health every day with small gestures that make a big difference. See you next time. Bye bye.